see, I was a student at Harvard University, and they had a program called VES, which meant Visual and Environmental Studies. And you go, well, what does that mean? Exactly. Basically, Harvard was sort of embarrassed to have an arts program, so to justify it, it was an honors-only program, meaning you had to apply to get in, and you had to maintain a certain GPA to stay in the program. And what was cool about it, was that it was multidisciplinary. So you study film, photography, graphic arts, architecture. Now, unlike a lot of the guys who I was students with, I had never really touched a camera before. I had an older brother who was a filmmaker, so I got to see the process through him, but I didn't know how to work an aperture, but I worked with a bunch of guys and gals who were very cool, many of whom have gone on to be very successful in the business. Like John Mostow, who did U-578 and Breakdown and Terminator 3. It's a whole long list of folks I went to college with who now are pretty prominent in the industry. So I felt very lucky to be with those guys as my peers, because you learn as much from your classmates as you do from your teachers. So I was working, and my older brother Warrington, who was already an established independent filmmaker, was like, look, you got to really think about what movie you're going to make for your senior thesis, because by the time you graduate, you have to have 10 minutes of film that's as good as anything. That's going to be your calling card. No one cares that you went to Harvard. All that matters is, can you make a good movie or not? So I knew that was the case. So my junior year, between my junior and senior year, I was working all summer, saving up money, and I was going to use that money to make my movie. And I spent all summer working on the script. And I had the script locked, so I knew the minute I came back for my senior year, I was going to present that to my professor and say, this is the movie I want to make. And as I'm packing, the radio's on, and Bad Boy Having a Party by Luther Vandross comes on. And it's a jam. And at the time, black music videos really weren't that prominent. I mean, this is basically 1982. So as an exercise in my head, I used to make up music videos to songs. Like, wow, if I shot a video, what would it be like? And I really started thinking about what the video for Bad Boy Having a Party might be. And then I thought, wow, that could be a movie. And that night, I wrote the whole script. Wow. And something that comes to you all at once like that, I had two scripts now, but something about that one said, that's the one to make. So I went to my professors, and they were not into fiction filmmaking, no, they were into documentaries. So I said, no, this is the movie I want to make. So they co-signed it. I took my savings, and took some money from my brother, and I made the short film. And that was 20 minutes long, got into some film festivals, and blah, blah, blah. And then that was it, because it wasn't like there were blacks in Hollywood or anywhere to go. So I took different jobs. I taught film at a couple of schools. I worked in advertising. Wherever I could get near production one way or another. I made some other short films. Then She's Gotta Have It came out. And when Spike Lee had that success, that changed it for everybody. All of a sudden Hollywood was like, no. I mean, there's some black people outside of Hollywood who are making films, that they have an audience and all that, because I mean, even we loved She's Gotta Have It, but we didn't know it was going to be all that. I mean, our idea of success was, wow, what if you play for like a whole weekend at a movie theater? So, and She's Gotta Have It was playing at this theater in Midtown Manhattan. And we would drive, take the train or walk by almost every day, and you would report, man, there's still a line. I mean, it was like it was our movie. Everybody was just so collectively invested in his success. So there was a party at Nelson George's house, and everybody was there. Spike was there, Russell Simmons was there. It was, and you look back and you go, wow, all those folks are in one room. And I saw Spike, and Spike said, hey, Rez, I got this script. I don't want to do it, but I told them they should call you. And it was the Otis Redding story. And I was like, great! I love sitting on Dock of the Bay. I called them on Sunday because I didn't know anything about Hollywood. So when I called them, they said, well, we're not going to do that movie, but we want to do a movie with Janet Jackson and Time. So I said, even better. So from that, I came out to Hollywood, had my first meeting, got my first Hollywood deal. And even though that movie didn't go anywhere, I got paid more money than I could ever imagine. And with that money, I could have bought a car, but I bought a computer. And at the time, a car and a computer cost about the same. But I said, a car, hey, I can take the train, I can take a bus, I can walk. But a computer will make more money for me. So I'm invested in the computer. And on that computer, I wrote the spec script for House Party. I already had the short film, wrote a spec script. And so then I got contacted from an executive, a young black woman, black Latina, who had heard about my short films and heard about my brother. And so we had a meeting, and I said, hey, I got this short film, I got this script. And they said, yeah, that's it. And from that, I got the opportunity to make House Party as a feature film.
So how did the process go with you casting? How did that come about? How did you pick those particular people? Because you could have picked some wrong people and the movie could have flopped.
No doubt. Well, actually, you know, originally, because I had written House Party as a movie I could make out of my own pocket if I needed to. I was planning on doing it independently. And we had done, the first music videos we had done for Uptown Records. And Andre Harrell I had just met, and he was starting this new record label. And we did video for Heavy D and the Boys, Mr. Big Stuff, and his whole crew. And there was a rap group I really liked out of that, a group called Groove Be Chill. And they were just great. They were funny, they were smart, they were great dancers. I said, well, why don't I just do this movie House Party with Groove Be Chill? That'll be great. But the problem was, like, Andre didn't really understand the group because that was before Fresh Prince and all that. So the idea of kind of a comedic hip-hop thing, there wasn't really a place for that, at least not in his mindset. So they weren't hot at the time. Who was hot was Kid and Play. When I say hot, it was like gold, maybe kind of platinum. But we gassed them up to new line. We were like, we think these are the guys. So they said, okay, you know, kind of reluctant about the whole thing, but eventually they went for it. So there we go, Kid and Play. Then we started auditions, and Martin Lawrence I had met, I think, the night before at some event or something, and I just liked him. He just struck me, you know how you just have a gut response to somebody. And the next day he came in, and there was someone who came in that may have even been a little funnier than Martin, but I just said, no, this guy Martin, I just have a gut feeling, I think he's the one. That turned out to be true. Robin Harris was a person we had heard about. We had got to see an advanced copy of Do the Right Thing so we could see his performance in Do the Right Thing. And my brother and I loved him. We were like, oh, no doubt, we want him to play the father. And the first thing we were told was, you can't cast him. No one can understand what he's saying. He's not acceptable. We're like, well, we understand it, and whatever. So we fought for Robin. You know, Tisha Campbell and AJ Diaz came in. They were just perfect. Just perfect. Tisha's such an extraordinary actress, and they were both friends. They were, you know, they were dancers. It just seemed like, just literally everything just fell in place. Full force. They were just hilarious, fun guys, New York guys. Looking back, the entire production of House Party was drama-free. There was no problems, no crisis. It was the stress of a low-budget production. But I was very organized. I had storyboarded everything. We had at least a week, maybe 2 weeks of rehearsals. We had done improv sessions. I had incorporated all the improvs from the actors. So, you know, it was great. Great experience.